Round 3, Thruxton. This old airfield circuit is one of the fastest on the calendar, with average lap speeds of up to 110 miles an hour. And this is where the big boys with the big factory teams should be able to stamp their authority and show us what they're made of.
Leon Haslam on pole, his first pole of the year. Carl Harris in second place. Gregorio Lavia, the defending champ, in third. Front row completed by the fast qualifier Dean Thomas. Second row, James Hayden, Michael Rudder, Ryoichi Kiyanari and Jonathan Ray. Shane Shaky Byrne, of course, has been forced back 8 places because he had an infringement in the warm-up this morning. He's been penalised 8 places on the grid and it's put him back to I don't know where as we get underway. It hardly counts, I have to say, about Shane Shaky Byrne when we've got our airway. Oh, that's a Ryoichi Kiyanari. Absolutely, is that Kiyanari? It's Harris. It's big Harris. It is Carl Harris, you're right in the middle of there. And the bike bouncing down the track, I'd like to see that again.
Yeah, he wouldn't. That was very, very unfortunate for Carl Harris, and he was very lucky not to get taken by anyone coming from behind, but they are through. Well, that'll almost certainly mean a pace car out, will it? Well,
it certainly will if the bike isn't retrievable. We're looking out of the commentary box window here at the moment. We are on the opening lap of the Bennett's British Superbike Championship. Carl Harris has been stamped on by his own HM Plant Honda, and that is a disaster for the second place man on the grid. So qualifying count for now if you don't get it off the line. So Harris, well, he's been pretty much injury-free this year. I can tell you they will pick up the safety car. There's the flag that says it. The safety car is out. They will join the safety car. And I think that Stuart Higgs, the race director, will basically be looking to see if there's any fluids down on that right-hand run into Allard Corner. If that bike has leaked any fluids, it will give now an opportunity for the marshals to check the track to make sure there's nothing slippery down on the circuit, because that bike hit the floor quite hard, Steve.
Yeah, it did, and almost certainly would have wiped one of the cases off, so they'll need to have a good look at that because it's at a very critical point on the circuit. It's Hayden.
Disaster. Hayden on the other, Rizla Suzuki, is also out. So whether there is anything that's slippery, whether it is his accident that has caused the pace car to go out, I don't know. Let's take another look at this. Carl Harris, well, he just didn't get the start, did he? And then he got mired there behind, I think that was Laverty's bike, was it? Or Rutter's bike that he touched the back of. And really, how lucky was he, John Reynolds?
And I think James Hayden must have had his own separate accident somewhere else around the circuit.
I think actually James was trying to miss the carnage of Carl Harris's bike. He was running alongside him.
Matthew Stone on the right, Neil Tuxworth, the Honda team manager, on the left there as Carl Harris wanders back with the doctor, and he's certainly limping, and that's a new limp for this year, because I think Carl Harris, despite the fact he had that damage that he's brought forward from last year's accidents, I think he's a lot healthier man through this year, so that looks like he's taken a bit of a spanking there. We're on lap 2 of 22, we're on a pace car situation. Let's take another look at this from the rear end. You can see there, Harris being picked up, but look at how many motorcycles have had to go round him and over him and out to the left-hand side. I'm sure is that Hayden? It was Hayden.
Unfortunately, John was right. He got on the grass there, didn't he, trying to miss all that carnage.
Well, I think he actually hit somebody else because Hayden's bike picked up in the air. There's Carl Harris. Harris walking back in. He is not happy at all. Oh, there's Hayden's bike. That's done an endo. Tell you what, the Rizla Suzuki camp this year have had a lot of money spent on their motorcycles. Don't forget, Shane Shaky Byrne's bike was absolutely burnt out at Donington Park, beaten to death before it actually caught fire.
Look at these guys, though. What everyone's trying to do, they're leaving a gap so they can build up down the straight, trying to keep the temperatures up now. And Leon Haslam is well aware of what's going on. He keeps looking over his shoulder.
But in comes the car then. Haslam in control of the restart. The car's in. Leon Haslam builds up. That's a great start he's made there from Dean Thomas in second place on the Hawk Kawasaki, and then it is Kiyanari in third place on bike number 2, followed by Michael Rutter looking for a way around the outside on bike 3. Then it's Lavia.
And it's now, they'll be cautious through here, colder tyres through the complex here. Those front tyre, the temperatures will have dropped, John, won't they? And it will be awkward.
Cautious. Well, that wasn't Lavia. Lavia's gone through already. Lavia's picked off a place. Oh, coming straight back at him. What's the Stobart by? Oh, Hawk Kawasaki sideways on. Michael Rudder goes back one place against Lavia. Kiyanari looking for a way past the Hawk. He goes by it. Kiyanari makes it to second place. Off the front is Haslam. Can't let him get away. Haslam, the pole sitter, looking for his first win this year.
Well, that was an interesting move there because Kiyanari went past Thomas. Thomas goes back in front there to take that second spot. But the guys will be happy to get this first lap out of the way, get those temperatures back up, and then we're into some great racing. But look at the lead Haslam has.
It's Lavia I'm watching at the moment. Lavia is JR's tipped the course here as far as this race is concerned, as much as he wants the Rizla Suzuki to do well. Look at the power of the Airwave Ducati on Brooklands. Slipstream past the Kawasaki, straight into second place. So Lavia goes up into that place. And really, it's Airwave Ducati 1 and 2 now, and that will be sickening for the rest of the paddock.
You know, it's funny, Dean Thomas always seems to be able to qualify well, but in the race he just seems not to be able to hold the pace, you know, lap after lap, and I can see what's happening now. The riders are going to be backing up behind him and really desperate to pass him.
Which plays into the hands of the Airways boys that are out there in front. So we'll have a look down. Rutter down there in 5th place as they cross the line. Shane Byrne, though, doing a storming job there in 8th.
He's angry, there's no doubt about it. He looked really mean down on the grid. But looking at Johnny Ray on bike 65 there, I can tell you, James Buckingham, the leading privateer here in the Superbike Cup, has got a ride-through penalty for a jump start on bike 56. That's a disaster for him. He was so quick. He was 11 places quicker than any of the other Superbike Cup boys. So James Buckingham on the Key Garage bike is out, and he's got a ride-through penalty. That's Colin Wright, team manager for Airways Ducati. Cool as ever. He's like ice, isn't he?
How impressive is that? He's come all the way through. Last lap, he was over half a second a lap faster, and he's just closed that gap down with ease. But this is absolutely perfect for the Airways Ducati team. Look at the lead they have over Chianari. Goes back nearly 2 seconds there, and it's a battle between these two. And if they work together, they can stretch away even further.
Just a little bit of look back to last year. Chianari won from Rutter, Lavia and Haslam. It's not going to be that way around this year. The Airways Ducatis have improved so much. Lavia's going to be happy to sit on the shoulder of Haslam for a few laps. We're only on lap 7 of 22, just a third distance. That's going to mean he's got to take his time, and he's not being threatened by anybody else. These two are in a show of their own.
In some ways, that incident at the beginning might help some of these guys with tyres. We knew that it will be a bit of a tyre race, 22 laps. It will be hard round here. But remember, they've had 3 of those laps behind the pace car.
And I can tell you now, Ben Wilson on the Vivaldi Racing Suzuki is in as well, 15. That is Ben Wilson is in, but really these guys won't know or care about that. They are in a class of their own. Lavia's time, 15.422 on lap 5. We are on lap 7. And already Haslam is making that bike sit down and spin, and that's not great for the longevity of these tyres. I wonder whether the man in 3rd place, Ryoichi Chianari, on the Michelins, will have a better setup for later in the race than perhaps these men will. Right. You're a Dunlop rider, JR. You've been doing this for... Oh, you've been doing some of that as well. This man, of course, and JR came together in that very same place. It resulted in JR with a big broken collarbone and a very glum face a couple of years ago.
That's right, Gregorio is one of the hardest.
Oh, what's that about? Gregorio Lavia, what was that about, JR? Can you read into that at all? He got his hand in the air as we
go back. I really can't,
no,
unless it's raining out there.
It is. I think maybe there's a few spots of rain out there. It's a possibility, but...
There's a brand new system in place. Stuart Higgs, the race director, has got a brand new system in place in each sector. If any of the riders are I think it's half a second slower than the one before, he will know, and he will be able to check on the sector times, and he will have it all covered by the time they get round to the start and finish line. Well, we've got our young lady here from a commentary position to go out and just check to see if it's raining. We're quite cruel, really, aren't we? Sending someone out to check to see if it's raining. Meanwhile, there's Shaky Byrne having a ride-o go. I'll tell you what, it's a good ride from Shaky Byrne.
Yeah.
He's caught Jonathan Ray from a long way back. They've passed already one of the Stobart bikes, which is Rutter. Rutter's going backwards through this grid at the moment.
Look at Shaky, yeah, that Risa Suzuki's absolutely sideways. John came in here and said that he wasn't happy about being penalised, but he was going to be giving it his all, and he certainly is. Number 67, Shaky Byrne now. I'm looking, his last lap was a 1:16.5. Good lap times now. We're going to see which is the faster, Honda or the Suzuki.
Certainly not slow, that Suzuki, as Shane Byrne stuffed it up the inside of Jonathan Ray, the other young Ulsterman on the Red Bull Honda. We've already seen Eugene Laverty's teammate effectively in the lower order class, finishing his first win in the British Supersports class. Johnny Ray looking for a win this year on the big bikes, but it is Shaky Byrne who's gone through. But we are keeping all eyes on the front. Lavia leads, Haslam in 2nd place, 3rd is Ryoichi Chianari, and then the battle for 4th place goes back to Thomas, and I think Shane Byrne, judging by the pace he's on at the moment, is looking for 4th place. Not easily, but he's certainly looking like he's got the pace to actually achieve that. Whether he's got enough to get in touch with Chianari in 3rd, and whether Chianari has enough to get in touch with these two out front. We're on lap 9 of 22, still a long way to go.
Shaky Byrne still under a lot of pressure there from 65, Johnny Ray.
He's not
interesting.
Not going to take any notice of it though, is he? Because Johnny Ray is about as aggressive as Shane Byrne out on the racetrack. And Johnny Ray, the young man around here, looking to make his name. Shane Byrne coming back from MotoGP, of course, into British Superbikes. Look at Johnny Ray. and forces his way. Now that was a lovely little move on the brakes, didn't panic, slotted it under the ex-MotoGP guy and showed him how to make the turn into the complex. Great move.
Yeah, very, very stylish, work through there, and he's got a good run out of that final part of the complex, Seagrave corner, up to Noble. This is now taken in 4th or 5th gear, depending on your gearing. High speed stuff through here, and this is it again, on the inside, down on the brakes.
Good move there, John.
Yeah, I mean, class act, isn't it? But, you know, Shaker's going to be sitting there now. It's obviously the race for 4th place, and I think there's no way Shaker's going to break the Honda. So, yeah, that's
sure.
right.
I
So I think he's just going to sit there now and just wait for the last lap.
Of course, 3rd place is Ryuichi Kianari, quite a long way in front of these boys, so not too worried about it. Just for you, keeping an eye out on Danny Beaumont, who has swapped places with Steve Plater this weekend, and Shane Byrne goes up underneath Johnny Ray. Anything you can do, I can do just as neat and maybe even better. As they come into the club chicane, and they're about to right in front of Fred Clark's office there, the circuit commentator. Johnny Ray, they're enjoying this race actually. The one thing I like about Shaky Byrne, he does like riding a motorcycle. It's not a business to him.
He loves his racing, that's right, and all he wants to do is get the Rizla Suzuki on the top step of the podium, but obviously not in this race maybe, but certainly this afternoon. If he had a good starter, you know, it could have been anything.
What you mean is if he hadn't ridden under a red flag in the warm-up, he might have been starting.
You said you weren't going to mention this.
Well, I was going to mention it, but I wasn't going to put JR out to dry regarding it, because John obviously is still employed by Rizla Suzuki, and politically it's not the correct thing for me to do, but comment on his riding, not on the politics of the sport at this point.
19?
Indeed. 65 is his number. 19, don't look at me, you. Don't look paranoid there, Steve. I wasn't going to mention your age.
Yeah, thank you, Keith.
Oh, look at that again. Johnny Ray riding like a 19-year-old, but with a 65-year-old's maturity. Absolutely incredible. Superb stuff.
Yeah, but here comes, I was going to say, I thought Shaky had turned the bike better through there, but he'll be a brave man to go around the outside.
Stuff.
He's doing it.
Good stuff. I'll tell you, John, you've got to say that at the moment, Shane Byrne is riding this motorcycle like it hasn't been ridden for a while. It's a situation where this bike, most of the Rizla Suzuki guys don't look as if they've been confident with the front end over the last, well, should we say 18 months. But as it is now, it seems like all the problems that they've had with the bike seem sorted.
Well, to be fair, really, the lads haven't had that much time on the track, certainly on dry tracks anyway, and this weekend it's been dry pretty well all the time, and Shaky, this is probably just what Shaky needed, you know, something, a no-lose situation where he can just go out and go as fast as he can for as long as he can. I've just noticed that, you know, they're pulling a second away a lap from these two guys that you're looking at the moment.
Great scrap, though, here for 4th place again. Keogh went through almost underneath. There's Johnny Ray. Tell you what, he does play oh, good stuff. I tell you what, he waited until Shane Byrne really just made a very slight mistake and then made him pay.
Absolutely, yeah, the move was there, and Shane had got the door shut firmly in the first part of the braking area, and then Johnny Ray just let those brakes off, stuck it down the inside, and away he goes. So this is going to be a great lap to watch.
Certainly looked to me like Neil McKenzie there. Les Pearson alongside him, technician in the Rizla Suzuki camp.
Really, for a 19-year-old, terrific stuff, and that is an excellent bike. Of course, that bike is as good, really, as the HM Plant machines. It's got all the same bits and pieces on, but did look as though he has just that bit more confidence on the front end than Shane Byrne into that chicane. Well,
interestingly, of course, it is exactly the same. It's dead on dead right, but it's running Dunlop tyres compared with the Michelin boys, and anything you can do, again, Shane Byrne comes through. You just know that this guy is not going to let it go. Both of these young men, well, particularly Jonathan Ray, I mean, enjoy their racing. Shane Byrne, though, is not going to be beaten by the youngster unless the youngster absolutely
well,
makes
that Rizla Suzuki's constantly been quickest through the speed traps all this weekend, so he'll be pretty happy probably just to sit behind him on the last lap and then just do him on the corner, on the last chicane.
We're on lap 18 of 22. Long gone are Lavia, Haslam and Kianari. This is the battle for 4th place. Shane Shaky Byrne on the Suzuki in front of the Honda of Jonathan Ray, son of Johnny Ray, famous father, famous son.
I think you can see, as John said exactly, the Suzuki's fast, because Johnny Ray actually hasn't been able to get in the slipstream, which is unusual. If you've got to bite anything like as quick, but this is where he's fast.
Commentator's blight.
No, I was saying he's quick in this part, but it's down the straight where, unfortunately, he hasn't been able to get in the slipstream, because if he had, he's quicker into the chicane. But unfortunately, Shane Byrne's got that covered. And now I think whatever happens, Shane Byrne, you'll see, is fast out of Church Corner. That's where he has the speed with that big Suzuki, and I think he'll get back in front. So quite honestly, I've got this one down to Shane Byrne.
John?
I think Shane Byrne will stick behind him now until the last lap and then do it. I think if he shows his hand too early, he's going to give Johnny Ray, show him his hand. So I think my prediction is that Shaker will stay where he is now, and then on the last lap do him.
Okay, I'm going with the youngster then. Jonathan Ray to take the fourth place here. Johnny Ray looks the hungrier, probably going to force it a little bit harder. I feel grandstand or bust maybe at Club on the last corner of the last lap. There goes into Club. It'll be the last time they come here. Well, just one lap to go at this particular point. That's where it's all going to get sorted out. There's no doubt about that. I think we are all agreed on that.
Yeah.
Over the line.
Shane Byrne, what he really has to do now is follow Johnny Ray round. Ray is fast through the complex, stay in touch with him. He wants to come out of Church Corner about 3 bike lengths behind and then slam it down the inside, because you can't block until you get into the braking area.
Defending champion Gregorio Lavia leads on the final lap from Leon Haslam, his teammate on the Airwaves Ducatis. Then it's Ryoichi Kiyanari in 3rd place, and it's this battle, a big battle for 4th place. It's pride more than podium as they come through the tricky little right-hand as they run all the way through here. Jonathan Ray knows what he's got to do. Now we're through the left onto the right, so I always get that wrong. I'm a bit premature. It's a long way round here. We're looking at Lavia. Thank you very much, Steve, for that extra smack in the... Lavia comes to the braking area at Club. This is, of course, his last lap. He's a long way in front of the rest of them, so we will take him through Club chicane and onto the checker flag. Gregorio Lavia takes his 3rd win of the year. He's been on the podium throughout his 5 rides so far this year. Leon Haslam will take 2nd place. That's a good ride from Leon Haslam, but one day he will beat his teammate. Ryoichi Kiyanari comes through for 3rd, but who's he going to be back at the chicane for 4th place? As we look back up the track for 4th place, who will it be? Johnny Ray gets it.
Right.
Keith Ewan takes the money. Thank you very much.
Well, I'd like to see what went on there, but I would have thought that Shane Byrne would have got through, but he didn't do so. But good ride there from Richards coming over the line.
Lenny Richards, yeah, it is a good ride from Richards. Takes 7th place from Tommy Hill in 8th place. Michael Rudder, by the way, did get 6th place. He came through. That's a great ride again from Gregorio Lavia. I mean, what have they got to do to beat this guy? And we have a green flag. What will Shane Byrne be able to do from the back? The ex-MotoGP man is in all sorts of trouble. James Hayden, of course, fell off in race 1, having got tangled up in the Carl Harris incident. We're away again. Good start from Haslam. Good start from Carl Harris this time. Harris on the HM Plant Honda. Slots in the 2nd place. Dean Thomas is in 3rd place on the Hawk Kawasaki, I think. No, it's not. It's number 3, Michael Rutter. Rutter slots it straight under, I think, for 2nd place now. Rutter goes 2nd. Haslam leads. Is it that Haslam leads? It is Haslam that leads.
Yeah,
Where is Gregorio Lavia? There is Gregorio Lavia. He's in 4th place at the moment, behind Carl Harris. Then, down goes Hayden. Hayden has gone down again. How many times has James Hayden jumped off of a motorcycle? It is just a disaster for Riddler Suzuki. I don't think you could write a script that would cause them more problems in one day than they have had here at Thruxton. Incredible. They might have thought it could get no worse after Donington, but it has.
Well, James Hayden just has 15 points from this champion show so far. The leader's sitting on 107, Gregorio Lavia. It is, as you rightly say, a complete nightmare for them.
Oh, look at Harris fighting there with Michael Rutter. The 2 Honda men. Harris displaced Michael Rutter in the HM Plant Honda team, and now it's Rutter on the Eddie Stobart bike that's duking it out with Carl Harris, and behind them is Lavia. What a fight. This is 9, 3 and 1, but away at the front, 91 Leon Haslam, as he did in race 1. Great start from him, but he was hunted down by his teammate back then.
Right now then, Len, we've got a battle on here. There is a question around this, but Haslam, as we saw in race 1, disappeared, but this time I think he's going to disappear even more before Gregorio Lavia, who is in 4th place, can get anywhere near him. He's going around the outside, which will be the inside line for the complex.
Oh, I tell you what, Lavia is all over them at the moment. No jump starts on my monitor. That's a good thing as far as this race is concerned. Oh, there's Michael Rutter. Hello, goodbye. I'm through. Will he hold it? I doubt it. Surely he was too wide to keep the drive.
Well, the problem there was, quite simply, Harris was out on the dirt. He went in there way too fast, got out on the dirt, couldn't get on the throttle, and that was it. Rutter went.
Harris is still the man in front, though, but look at that. Lavia sides underneath Michael Rutter. Rutter on bike number 3, goes back a place. Lavia, the magnificent Spaniard. Michael Rutter is right out on a wide line. He's looking for the motocross track and the berm that goes on the outside of one.
Yeah, and that's the dusty part where there isn't any grip, but this is a frantic battle. But meanwhile, look at this. Unless Lavia gets through very quickly, and he's going to now, isn't he?
Incredible. That Ducati is so fast. He's up behind the works HM Plant Honda, and it's going to be down to a braking manoeuvre down. Oh, dear me. Hello, good night. Straight
through. Got to stop it.
He did. Brilliantly. I'll tell you what, Carl Harris nearly got tripped up on the rear wheel then.
Harris, all sorts of problems. Harris, I don't know if he's got any braking problems or what's going on, but he ran on deep at the complex. He ran on deep again just there.
And Rutter took the opportunity as well and cut through on bike number 3, the Eddie Stobart Honda. Unbelievable scenes in his opening couple of laps. What a start to the race. Leon Haslam off the front, off of the pole position. Now he has his teammate, as he did in race 1, Gregorio Lavia, hunting him down from second place.
So Harris was lining up Rutter, but he couldn't pass under a yellow flag, but now it's clear and he's away.
Tell you what, this is the two Hondas, one tuned by Eddie Stobart's mob and the other one by HM Plant. Not a lot in it, is there? It's going to be down to a braking session here. Harris forcing his way under Rutter. What a great superbike race this is.
They used to be friends, but I'm not sure if they will be any now. But Harris this time's got those brakes up to heat and away he goes. But how close was that? He actually touched Michael Rutter's leg as he went through there.
Look who's closing down the Hawk Kawasaki behind those two as well at the moment. It's Jonathan Ray on the Red Bull Honda moving in as well. We're going to have a three-way Honda battle in a minute. HM Plant Honda with Michelin's. Then it is the Eddie Stobart Honda of Michael Rutter on Dunlops, followed by the Red Bull Honda of Jonathan Ray. That's assuming he can get past the Hawk Kawasaki. Here it is again. Look at this, Steve. Sliding up underneath Michael Rutter. Rutter didn't let him get away with it, though.
Oh. They actually touched at that point. Keith, I've just got to tell you. Hang on, we've got some
black and orange flag that is for Glenn Richards.
But more importantly, just look at this. Gregorio Lavia, a 1:14.890.
Sub 1 minute 15, Steve Parrish. That is an outstanding lap as he closes down his teammate at the front. So for the first time, the fastest ever motorcycle lap around here.
He's there.
He's right on top of him. Superb, Gregorio, the super Spaniard. He is not just wanting to win this championship, he's wanting to make everybody else in it look slow.
Well, what can you say about that? Unfortunately, Glenn Richards.
Hydrex Honda is leaking. That's obviously the oil flag that was out, and that's the reason why. I don't know whether Glenn stepped off that or just stopped him, but it's not, I hope, going to be a play anything to do with these other riders. Hopefully there isn't anything down on the track anywhere. Carl Harris, can he catch these two?
Well, I can't believe that time of Gregorio Lavia. Bike number 1, second place at the moment. Gone round in a 1:14.8. And Leon Haslam, what can you say? He was out there setting lap record times, 200ths of a second away from it, thinking he was going as good as he could. He's got a lap timer on that bike. He'd never seen his times. He cannot imagine that Gregorio Lavia could have gone that fast.
Lavia seems to be able to turn that motorcycle and still get the thing to be absolutely pointed in the right direction. He seems to take a tighter line everywhere and just sides underneath all the competition. Again, look, just tighter than Leon Haslam. Haslam lets it run out a little bit, but Lavia gets on the power now. Surely not through this section. It is so fast here. 130, 140 miles an hour, and then back just a little bit for 120 odd miles an hour at this particular corner, right at the apex of it, and then building again everywhere. Wheel spinning onto the Brooklyn Straight. It's hardly as straight as lean across onto the lower diameter of the left-hand side of the wheel, making the revs go right up. Here comes Gregorio, straight through at club. Wow. He didn't waste any time. He's confident. He's happy to be leading from the front. He doesn't need Haslam as a pacemaker. They're on the rev limiters as they come past out here in the commentary position, and really perfect slipstream manoeuvre.
Absolutely. 200 miles an hour they'd be doing at that point on the brakes, on the inside, and you think normally he might run wide, but inch perfect down the inside. Leon Haslam would be thinking to himself, what must I do to beat this man? He just seems impeccable around this circuit pretty much everywhere he goes.
Tommy Hill, that looks like to me.
Yeah, it is. Tommy Hill is down. Well, he's up again now, thankfully, and this is the moment. Oh, around the outside, he's run too deep. He's on the marbles.
Oh,
and there he goes.
And I'll tell you what, Steve, we need a bit of a slap here. Catch ourselves on a bit. That was Ryoichi Kiyanari, not Carl Harris, that was fighting with Michael Rutter. Don't know how the hell we missed that one. Michael Rutter. He's battling with Ryoichi Kiyanari. Harris has got off on the front. He's off in third place at the moment. I think that's where we missed it. He's got out in front. This is the battle with Kiyanari versing down with Jonathan Ray. So Kiyanari has caught and passed them. And I can tell you, Harris has got away a little bit in front of his teammate here, the HM Plant Honda of Kiyanari. I think he teleported himself into this particular race. Well, the last time I looked, I'm sure it was Harris.
It was him definitely battling with Michael Rutter, but as you rightly say, he's split, he's gone. Harris now lapping 1:16.3. No quicker, in fact, than Johnny Ray, but anyway, we'll see if Ray now he's got through and can follow Ryoichi Kiyanari. And Kiyanari had a dreadful start. I saw him at the beginning, wheelie too much and just didn't get away properly.
Transponder, of course, is tripping our monitors here. Oh, that looks like it might have hurt. So Dean Thomas down. Dean Thomas, and the bike's right in the middle there of the track, so we're going to have a pace car out to pick that up, I would think. So a safety car may well come out. Let's have a look at, wow. Step off that. Is that Allard running into the complex?
Oh, look at that number.
Is that Howie Mainwaring? Howie Mainwaring, we saw him win the National Superstocks race a little earlier on.
Wow.
Over the line, number 1, Gregorio Lavia, and he's coming into the area where that accident happened. We surely will see some flags in a moment. Through goes Haslam in second place. There is the motorcycle plus carnage on the inside of the
grass
corner.
on the track. Luckily on the inside there, Howie Mainwaring, you see that bike stood on its nose. He must have taken to the grass.
And it was McConnell that came off earlier on. The Virgin Mobile bike that was in the barrier earlier on that we saw was Billy McConnell, not Tommy Hill. So Tommy Hill fans, I can tell you that Tommy Hill is in 8th place in front of Michael Laverty on the Stobart Honda. Scott Smart is in 10th place at the moment, with Shaky Byrne now up to 11th place on bike 67 from the back of the grid. 15 of 22, Neil Tuxworth on the left, Matthew Stone on the right there, and the rest of the team all looking on at the monitors. That is the most anxious I think I've ever seen Neil Tuxworth look of late. He's certainly a very cool customer normally, but he looked just a little bit worried about the possibility of these two getting tangled perhaps, because Carl Harris has been in a fighting mood today, particularly after that off he had in race 1. If you saw the way that he was dealing with Michael Rudder earlier on, then you'll know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is always concerning as a team manager watching your two riders out there dueling against one another, knowing that the last person you want to be beaten by is your teammate. Number 9, Harris leads this.
Good round here, isn't he, Harris? He really does stretch it all the way through those right-handers and onto Church. But this is the bit that counts. Getting the drive, getting the thing sat on the fat bit of the tyre and trying to fire it up behind the bike in front of you. Huge hole in the air there. Chianari gets loads of slipstream. Wow, it fires him down the club at about an extra 10 mile an hour.
Is he going to stop it? He does, but yeah, when you get two equal bikes like that, the difference in speed is phenomenal, which was seen there. We know those bikes are identical, same tyres, same motor and everything else as they go through there, but the speed that gave him must have been at least 10 miles an hour.
Oh, here we go, Scott Smart, last week a winner at Donington Park, this week being caught and passed by Shaky Byrne, who started from the back row of the grid. Shane Byrne then moves up to 9th place. Well, I'll tell you what, he's had his patience tested, as I said earlier on today, but Shane Byrne likes to race